News 8 at 11 starts now.
We begin at 10 with a statement from Hamilton Southeastern Schools. The administration says it's looking into a racially charged social media post. It reportedly shows a student in blackface. A spokesperson says there are 2 girls involved. They're both current students. In a statement, the district says, quote, "We are aware of the recent social media activities involving students. At this time, we do not know of all the facts of the incident, but we take all reports of harassment and discrimination very seriously. We do not condone such behavior by any member of our school community. The use of racially offensive language or behavior in our schools by anyone does not reflect our values as a district and will not be tolerated." The spokesperson added the investigation will continue on Tuesday when students and staff are back after the holiday. IMPD is investigating after a man died while in their custody. Police were called to Cooper Road this morning around 11 o'clock for a man reportedly walking in and out of traffic. IMPD tells us officers tried to talk with the man, who suddenly got combative. When he was in their custody, he started having breathing problems. Medics were called, but he died shortly after. IMPD is looking into what happened while an internal administrative review of the incident goes on. A vacant house caught fire early this morning. This is on Bradley Avenue, just south of Washington Street. It's near Christian Park on the city's east side. The battalion chief at the scene estimates damage to be around $50,000. Crews had to deal with burned out interior stairwells, downed power lines in the back of the home, and several holes in the home. Thankfully, nobody was hurt. Fire officials warning drivers tonight, be careful on the roads this Labor Day weekend after a holiday trip ended with a car crashing into a home in Carmel. Wish TV's Jenny Drasler was there. Jenny, what do you know?
David, I'll tell you what, crash was pretty bad. If you take a look at the video, it kind of speaks for itself here. Lots of damage to this house. It happened after the driver fell asleep while driving behind that wheel, ramming into that home. It's an example of what law enforcement tells me they don't want to see this holiday weekend as millions of people hit the roads for hours at a time.
Well, I was doing my cleaning and heard this boom and thought, what was that?
What Beth Straw heard was a car slamming into the side of her neighbor's house in Carmel. The path of destruction was hard to miss as people living in the Lost Oak subdivision put the brakes on their plans to see what happened.
You see that sort of a stump right there? That was a tree. That tree is now upside down in the next tree's tree. So he hit it, flipped it upside down, it went in that tree, and he came between it, and I don't know how he missed those 2 trees and into that.
Carmel first responders calling the crash an accident after a man in his late 20s fell asleep at the wheel after a long Labor Day weekend drive.
The driver had been up all night driving and just fell asleep, or dozed off, and was almost home when this happened.
No one was at home, but the house is severely damaged. And while the driver was only slightly hurt, fire officials say it could have been far worse and urge drivers to take this as a warning if your Labor Day plans have you on the road for long periods of time.
If you're sleep deprived, don't worry, pull over if you need to. You can always get there a little bit later, but you want to make sure that you've slept. We're really fortunate today. I'm glad no one was home and everybody's okay.
Now, this is the second time in a month that a car has hit a house in this very same neighborhood. In early August, a drunk driver rammed into 2 houses after losing control of her car. No injuries in that crash either, but police tell me the driver in today's incident will not be facing any charges. Jenny Drasler, Wish TV News 8.
Thank you, Jenny. A crash in northern Indiana killed 4 people. It happened in Garrick on the Indiana Toll Road around 1:40 this morning. State police say a Toyota SUV was driving the wrong way on the highway without headlights on. The SUV hit head-on with a Jeep. The driver, his wife, who was in the front seat, and their 14-year-old son died at the scene. 3 other children, an 11-year-old, a 10-year-old, and a 7-month-old, were flown to a hospital in Illinois. The driver of the Toyota also died. State police believe alcohol may have been a factor, but they're still waiting for toxicology results. All the victims were from Illinois. Some of us had sunshine to start the weekend. For others, it was a wet one. Storm Track 8 meteorologist Brad Mousehart is with us tonight. Brad, is there more rain coming?
Hey, David. Yeah, we do have a few isolated showers that will develop tomorrow afternoon, similar to today. Once those temperatures start to warm back up into the upper 80s tomorrow, we'll see a few storms sparking across the area. Today, 85 degrees here, a little warmer off to our southwest. Terre Haute and Blooming today, both topping out in the upper 80s. We can expect upper 80s here in Indianapolis tomorrow afternoon. A live look down at the Circle, the American flag there. A good looking night here downtown in Indianapolis. It's a little mild though, still 77 degrees. A south breeze tonight going to keep us both muggy and mild by early tomorrow morning. We're really dropping in most spots into the upper 60s and lower 70s. So you might keep that air conditioner cranked tonight, maybe keep those windows closed. Storm tracker not showing you a whole lot outside right now. All the storms have been well up to our north, but again, with that south wind, it's going to continue to push moisture our direction. That'll recharge the atmosphere for tomorrow, and a little bit of heat mixing in with that moisture. We will see those storms developing tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. 68 degrees as you head out the door tomorrow morning. Low 70s in some spots as well. Overall, not a bad start to the morning. Just a lot of cloud cover. Tomorrow afternoon, we'll have to deal with that isolated Sunday storm threat, and well, on Labor Day, we're going to have to deal with the heat. Just about everybody going to see that if you don't see any of the rain the next couple of days. But even better chances for wet weather just down the road, and your full forecast will break it down for you coming up in about 7 minutes.
Some lives are so vivid, it's difficult to imagine them ended.
An American hero remembered today for his service as a sailor and senator. A look at the services for Senator John McCain next.
And the greater cause to which he
You're watching Wish TV, your local news source, with Julie and Grace, meteorologist Brad Moushart, and sports with Megan McEwen. Now, News 8 at 11 continues.
Tributes poured in this morning for Senator John McCain during his memorial service at the National Cathedral. The senator, known for working in a bipartisan manner, remembered in a bipartisan affair. Our Washington correspondent Morgan Wright shares how Senator McCain was honored.
Senator John McCain's political allies and opponents gathered in Washington to pay their final respects to the American hero. Hundreds stood in silence as Senator McCain's flag-draped casket was carried into the National Cathedral.
We come to celebrate an extraordinary man.
Former presidents Barack Obama and George W. Bush eulogized the senator, the two men who kept McCain from becoming president himself.
After all, what better way to get a last laugh than to make George and I say nice things about him to a national audience?
And we will remember him as he was, unwavering, undimmed, unequal.
The mourners attended by invitation only. They ranged from 3 past presidents to comedians and congressional colleagues to family and staff. President Trump was pointedly not invited, but first daughter and advisor Ivanka Trump and husband Jared Kushner were at the service. And here at the Capitol, Senator McCain departed America's seat of government one final time. McCain's final journey started in the Capitol Rotunda with a stop at the Vietnam Veterans Memorial, where Cindy McCain laid a wreath and where those without an invitation to the cathedral mourned the senator's passing.
I had to come up and say goodbye to an old friend.
Daughter Megan McCain.
He was a great warrior. He was a great American.